Well, hello, greetings, and welcome to our neighborhood. My name is Ad1 with Nothing, and today I've decided to tell at least one story from when I was homeless in 2018. 2018 was a very hard year for me. I was homeless for half of 2018, and what got me out of homelessness, if you're wondering, like if you know someone who's homeless and you want to give them a tip. Unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand because what happened is I had SSI, but I would just spend it all on the first of the month. Um, but I finally worked my. Well, what happened was that I was in the camp for a while, and I recommend highly if you're to avoid camps. I don't think any camps are safe. There's a high concentration of sexual predators that are homeless, and their data doesn't get collected because they're running from the law. Um, so um, be careful with homeless people. Um, so I was in a camp. We were across the driveway from a McDonald's, and some people like stopped and gave us food. I remember someone I handled like a big ass lasagna. I went around the fucking corner and ate that by myself. I didn't give it to anyone else. Cause these people I don't know. They probably would steal from me, hurt me if they could, and by hurt I mean rape. Uh, so I ate most of the lasagna myself, and then the scraps I like left on the ground for them. Um, and right before then, I'm I was I met up with this homeless guy. I think he was homeless, and um, he wanted to buy cigarettes from me. So I didn't really trust handing him over cigarettes. So I put them on the ground. I put 4 cigarettes on the ground, and then I stood up, and he failed to bust out any cash at all. So um, when I realized he was trying to take the cigarettes from me, I got down quick to grab the cigarettes, and when I went down, his crotch went right into the butt of my head, and then he punched me. And when people punch me, it kind of instantly makes me activated, and so I didn't fight back, but what I did is I got on my phone and I weaved in and out of the McDonald's drive-through so that I would be on under bright lights, under surveillance cameras, so this motherfucker wouldn't hit me again. So I was calling 911, on him, and he was still standing there waiting for me to leave surveillance zone, and I'm sure I was disrupting McDonald's business because um, the police broke up that camp like not long after I did that. So eventually, this guy, he said his name was Donovan. Um, Eventually, he just biked off, and I saw him go really far, and then he turned. He must have gone like 4 or 5 blocks before he turned. So I was probably persona non grata. Um, when I got back to the camp after like 3 cop cars came in, they didn't do anything, by the way. They just don't care. It's homeless people, homeless problems. We don't care. I and so um, when I got back to the camp after calling the cops and all that shit, someone had stolen all my jackets and my medication. So going back to how did I get out of homelessness? It's when someone stole my meds that I realized I needed to do something. So what I did is I walked right into Schmick Hospital in Sacramento, and I asked, if I could. So I told him I'm on medication, um, but someone stole my meds, so I have no medication, and I need to get into this hospital so I can get some medication because no one likes me when I'm unmedicated. Um, the police don't like me. My spouse didn't like it. Nobody likes it. I don't like it. Do you think it's like fun for me to act out and scream or whatever? Not that I scream very much. Um, so I made Donovan go away. He did get me once, but I made him leave without throwing a punch. And part of my karate creed is it's it it better be a life or death situation if you're going to use karate or martial arts in general. Um, that's part of the creed that I took, and um, I don't like to say the entire creed because um, I mean it's it could be exploited if people knew that that was my creed. Um, but in all my adventures in Montana, Sacramento, everywhere I've been, I've never had to throw a punch or a kick or a knee or an elbow or that headbutt was accidental. He he put his crotch on my head. I didn't headbutt his crotch. It was not like that. Although that is a good idea. I think that would really hurt. Um, Another time I was in Sacramento and I don't know if you're familiar with Fort Sutter. It's surrounded by a lot of grass, and that grass just was really cozy. So I laid down and fell asleep on the grass outside. Um, Sprinklers be damned. And yeah, sorry. Sleep was so hard for me to come by when I was homeless. 'Cause normally I wouldn't sleep. Normally I would just keep walking. Occasionally I laid down on concrete. One time I remember kind of resting under a tree because it was raining. You know, rain means a whole lot more when you've got no way to avoid it. Yeah, mosquitoes. So I was sleeping outside of Fort Sutter, and that's the general area where I hung out in Sacramento when I was homeless. That general area. Um, and someone woke me up. And like I said, sleep is hard to come by, so I really fucking hated it when someone woke me up. I needed to get some sleep. So somebody woke me up. He looks either Latino or possibly Native American in ethnicity. Ethnicity is still a word, right? It's not offensive, right? Um, I don't remember his initial words to me, but basically, in so many words, he wanted me. He wanted to get down. I don't know where, but he wanted to get down. He wanted me to perform fellatio upon him, and about as kind as way as I could muster, I told him no, and then I kind of gathered a follower, which is bad. He followed me around, and that's not good. And there was this pivotal moment with this dude who woke me up. See, because when I turned him down for sex, I'm sure that upset him. You know, it's like rejection. You know, rejection hurts no matter what. Um, and I forgot. Yeah, I forgot his exact words, but he basically said, "What if I have my crew here beat your ass into the ground or something like that?" And my mouth got me out of that. I said there would be no honor in that. You know, suddenly assaulting a random person. Um, and as luck would have it, he responded to that appeal to honor, and he said there would be no honor in that. But I want you to go, and I never want to see you again. So, of course, I didn't. I returned back the next night. You know, I didn't. How am I? Why would I let him tell me where to go? Um, let's see. Um, yeah, when I was homeless in 2018, there was rioting in Sacramento, which is where I think his name is Stefan Clark. He was shot by police. They emptied two clips between them. They emptied two clips into a youth who was armed with a fucking cell phone, who was running because he was panicked. Because if you're black, like you learn from an early age, like police is not necessarily your friend, you know, and that's putting it lightly. I mean, this is black. I wonder if that would have happened if he was white. I really, I doubt he would have been shot 20 times. The coroner said like this. I don't know what exactly. Like the eighth bullet ended his life, and they kept shooting. So they put like two clips into him. So he died, and the uproar was intense, and I was very close to rioting, and I would say about 100 yards away from rioting, there was cops lined up with their riot gear, and then the rioters were they were both like trying to push each other around to corral the other person, the other not person, the other group. You know, that was scary being near a riot. It's like being to me, it's like being near a fire. You know, it's just dangerous as fuck. Like, cause they could turn and like a herd of bison. If they turn their direction, head my way, I could have been in trouble. Cause like I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm not black, and I don't know like the I didn't really know the disposition of those rioters, although they didn't have like Molotov cocktails or anything like that. Because when you bust that shit out, then the cops start shooting, and they know that. Um, when I was in the hospital, that's because someone I told you someone stole my medication. When I was in the hospital, my roommate just fucking I was sleeping, and like I said, sleep's important to me. So when someone interrupts my sleep, I can get agitated. And I was lying down. I was lying on my right shoulder, this one, and all of a sudden he starts yelling, "Ah!" You know, and he was punching. Shit, sorry, I think it's a little too bright. Let's see. Please excuse the interruption. You can tell I'm an amateur. Oh, that's too bright. All right, that'll have to work. So, anyway, I was in the hospital and in my room sleeping, and my roommate fucking starts going off on me like with his fist. He was hitting my I was sleeping on my right side, and he was wailing on me like in this range here, and he just kept hitting me, and I became upset. I didn't hit back, but I stood up and and I said, "Stop hitting me," and he did. And he sat down in his bed, and I told him, "If you do that again, I'm going to hurt you." And I just that's all I said, you know. And then I told staff what he did, and they confirmed with him. Like they asked him, "Did you hit him?" And he said he did. And I was like, "Well, at least he's got some integrity." And they put him in a fucking quiet room for an hour, I think, which is you don't they didn't have to do that. But I did want a different roommate though. Either me leave that room or him leave that room. I don't care, you know. I didn't care. Um, so that was fucked up. But you know, I was clearly just I didn't actually meet. It was an empty threat. I wasn't going to hurt him, but I occasionally do find it a place for intimidation. And when people don't know me, I can pull off some intimidation, even if it's empty. But let's see what else. Oh yeah, I started dumpster diving, and I remember I was outside Mel's at night one time. It might have been a Friday night because it was really crowded. Although, you know, because like back then I did not keep track of the day of the week. Like I did not know the day of the week. Um, but judging by the crowded parking lot, it was a Friday or a Saturday night. So it was dumpster diving, and people throw away a lot of food. And I was going after French fries and fucking half-eaten burgers. Sometimes there was a completely uneaten burger. I'm like, why did you even go to this restaurant? Like, so sometimes in the dumpster it was still warm, and that was nice. And then all of a sudden, I hear on his fucking loudspeaker, "Get away from the dumpster and like get the fuck out of here." I'm paraphrasing. It was police, and so yeah, I had to leave. I guess it could have been called trespassing or loitering. It's really just dumpster diving, and I don't. I think dumpster diving should be decriminalized. Of course, you don't want 30 homeless dudes lined up in your dumpster. That would probably be bad for business, which is the ultimate fucking thing, right? It is bad for business. And another time, I picked up this cane. It was really sweet because um, I could use it. I could push it down into a dumpster, and that the handle acted like a hook, so I could pull out of the dumpster because the dumpsters and the fencing the dumpsters are in are designed to be anti-homeless because you wouldn't want to feed the homeless your discarded food now, would you? Um, because then that would enable us, right? Then there'd be more people homeless. Really? Do you have any research to back that up? I mean, I don't have any counter research, but I actually have experience. Not a lot. I mean, I've heard that in order to get the full effect of homelessness, yes, be you should be homeless for more than a year, and then you get the full effect of homelessness. And I wasn't homeless for a year, um, because I got out of it. I made the quantum leap, to get the fuck out of there. And I happened to luck out and find a rental that didn't check, check credit. Yeah, this one time I met up with this trans uh, female, born male, but they had, according to them, they had their surgery already, their gender confirmation surgery. She was she was gonna get so fucked up on being homeless. She was so naive, and I was rolling with her because I didn't want her to, you know, get raped by fucking guys. That's just wrong. I mean, of course it's wrong, but I have a soft spot in my heart for her. She was young, and she obviously did not have any homelessness skills. Not that I'm the homeless master or anything, but I mean, I did get out of it, so I think that's got to count for something. So I was rolling with her, and I think that's near the time that I lost my medication, and so we both went to the hospital. I stayed, and they didn't let her in. I wish that I could have known her. I hope she. I remember thinking, I'll give you one heartbeat if 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 you'll breathe one more time. Just take one more breath. If you take one more breath because of something I did, then my life is worth something. That's how I viewed her. I forgot her name. Um, uh, I used to hang out at the Greyhound bus station on Richards Boulevard in Sacramento, and I had a bad